As you might imagine, I hear a lot of music, and I can still remember the first time that I put on your 2014 album,
Disgusting.
and digging it. Like there was just something about your sound and the way that album comes across. It's just full on. It's got some old hardcore in it.
Yeah.
It's a cool release. I haven't spent a ton of time with your new album yet.
Yeah, it just came out not too long ago.
Yeah.
So.
I played it before coming here, obviously,
Yeah.
but I haven't had a chance to love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're on top of many industry lists right now. Like, there's a lot of buzz behind you. Every time I open a magazine, it's like, Beartooth. How does that make you feel?
It's kind of crazy. Like, we've been in magazines that I've grown up looking at and, like, grown up reading. Like, Metal Hammer, AP, like, all those magazines I grew up looking at, seeing myself in it. It's kind of strange for me,
Right.
but awesome at the same time. It's something cool I can show my parents, like, hey, Mom, I'm doing something. Like, look at me. So,
Is this your first Heavy Montreal?
yes.
And you've played, so what were your impressions? What do you think overall?
It was actually probably one of my favorite shows we played this. I'm not gonna say this year, but I'd say top 5 shows of this year for me personally.
Right on.
So it was very good, and catering was incredible. So
Cool. I've heard that from a lot of people.
it was
The food has been
fantastic.
awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me about writing your sophomore release. How did you guys come together and start putting together an actual second album, which is usually a bit more challenging than a debut, which is an assembly of stuff that you've done over, 3, 4, 5 years?
Well, it's actually all our singer Caleb.
Okay.
He writes and records everything in his basement, and we kind of he'll send us like a new song, and we'll be like, well, that sounds awesome to us, like, and
Nice.
we'll learn the music and we go from there. So I don't know the writing process for him, but I know he starts out with like guitar riffs and then kind of builds, or he starts out with like a chorus idea and then builds off of that. But this album's been a little more, I'd say, a little more rock and roll than the last, so I'm happy with it.
So how do you then get to experience those songs? They just trickle to you by email, one at a time?
Like Dropbox, or like I'll drive. We all live 20-30 minutes from each other, so we'll go. We always hang out when we're home anyways, and he's like, oh, check out this new song I was writing, and so.
And I understand that John Fieldman collaborated on the album as well.
He did.
How many of the songs?
He did the song Burnout. He co-wrote with that, and Sick of Me, and the last song on the album, which is King of Anything.
Okay.
So and then on the last album he did One, which was In Between.
Yeah.
So.
Do you know how that process goes? Is that file sharing?
Caleb flies out and actually sits in a room with John.
Okay.
And he did the same thing with Bendith to write. Bendith did Fairweather Friend. He co-wrote on that, and then he mixed the whole record as well.
Cool. What were your motivations as a teenager when you were still in high school?
I guess I started playing guitar. Like my neighbor that I used to hang out with like a lot just had a guitar laying around. I was like, oh, teach me some stuff, when I was, say, 14 or 15 years old, and I kind of just fell in love with it from there.
Cool.
And I started listening to heavy music, and it kind of just spiraled from there. So.
Right on. Do you find the songs that get popular for Beartooth are the songs that you all think are going to get popular? Or are you surprised by what fans grab onto?
Some of them I am surprised about, but one of the songs that no one thought was going to get really popular has been one of the best selling songs off the new album. It's called Rock Is Dead.
Okay, yeah.
For the past 3 weeks, it's been like top 3 selling songs, like singles off the album. We don't have a video out for it. We don't have anything out. It wasn't a single, and it's personally my favorite song off the album. So
That's
I'm
cool.
very excited about that. Yeah, I just can't wait to play. We haven't played it yet, but
no way.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So we're gonna start playing in the fall, I think. So.
Do you have a favorite moment about the creation of Aggressive that you could share?
Probably just seeing the songs slowly trickle in over. I mean, Caleb's always like just constantly writing, so just being excited, like every time Caleb texts, like, or like says, come over, listen to this new song, or like he texts like, hey, new song in the Dropbox, I'm always like, stop whatever I'm doing and like sit in my car or sit like in my room and just listen to the song over and over again until I get a feel for it.
Cool.
Then I start learning the song. So
Right on.
that's my favorite part of any new album coming out. So
How active on social media are you guys?
we're pretty active. I think there's at least a post on some social media a day,
Okay.
or like every couple hours, you know, like just trying to interact with people. And I mean, I always try to like, I have Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and I try to keep Facebook more for like family and friends, but
Yeah.
Twitter and Instagram, I try to just reply to whatever I can. And so I mean, as a kid growing up, like I would love for me to tweet at a band and be like, and get a reply from that. So I'm trying to like do that the same way that I would, like I would get like a really big kick out of like somebody that I looked up to tweeted back at me. So I try to do that.
That's so
much.
foreign to me. I come from a generation where, you know, you didn't know what the band looked like, you know, when you went to the shows. So
you'd see a tour flyer, and that's the only picture you got.
I find it curious that you know, musicians can have such an interesting rapport with some of their fan base if they choose to.
It's such a huge thing, at least for, I mean, a band starting out nowadays. Like, we're a fairly new band, so it's just like the easiest way to like contact fans or like reply to fans is just social media, and that's a huge part of music now, which kind of sucks, but
it is what it is. I
mean,
mean,
it is what it is.
It's just a part of what we have as the world right now, and you use it or you don't use it, and I think there is advantages to both of those scenarios, right?
I love interacting like on social media. Like I post whenever I'm like bored, like on a long drive, or like I'm just sitting doing nothing. I'm like post a tweet like, ask me some questions, I'll answer all that I can. And so I like doing that kind of stuff.
What's your all-time favorite snack food?
All-time favorite snack food? 100 Grand. It's my favorite candy bar.
Nice. It's the first thing you pack before you travel.
Underwear and socks. It's the most important.
Is there a deceased musician that you wish you could have collaborated with?
Lemmy.
I name an artist that you buy everything from.
I buy everything from. My favorite artist is John Mayer. I wouldn't say I buy everything from him, but I listen to everything he puts out.
Okay. Name a concert that changed your life.
Probably the first time I saw Slipknot.
Cool.
It's probably one of the highlight shows of my entire life. Yeah.
If you had to pick, could you pick a favorite top 40 band?
Favorite top 40?
Yeah.
I'm kind of a sucker for the new Justin Bieber album, honestly.
Yeah?
I'm not
Cool.
gonna lie about it. So.
What do you consider the definitive metal album?
For me, or
for you?
For me.
Yeah.
I would say, honestly, the first like heavy song I ever heard was "Sick" by Slipknot, and that album was like huge for me because I was just like, holy shit, like what is this? Like I've never heard this before, so it was really cool. That was probably what got me rolling on heavy music.
Name something that being in Beartooth has taught you.
Taught me? Just, I guess no matter how many people you're playing to, like, kind of give it your all. We do that every single show. Like, whether we're playing in front of 2 people or 20,000 people, it's just like we put on the same show. Like, we want it to be kind of uniform. So if someone sees us in front of a small crowd, like a house show, we've done house shows before, we still try to put on the same show that we do in front of, like, Download main stage.
And a time in your life when you were starstruck.
I walked by Ozzy at a Download this past year, and I was
Nice.
like, holy shit, that's Ozzy Osbourne. I'm like, that was kind of crazy.
That's Ozzy in
yeah.
the real.
Yeah.
Right on, man. And lastly, if you can answer this, what's your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero. Probably go with Spider-Man. I
That's a
don't
good
know.
answer.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yep.